make their way across campus, led by Mr. Paul Esch, the grade level dean for the 12th grade. Graduates, you may be seated. Guests, please take your seats. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the head of Francis Parker School, Mr. Kevin Yaley.
Thank you, Dr. Gillespie. So on behalf of the entire Parker community, I want to extend my personal welcome to everyone who is here, to our families and to our friends, to the members of the Francis Parker School Board of Trustees, to our speaker today, Congressman Vargas, to our esteemed faculty and staff, and most especially to the members of the graduating class of 2019. And so to the class, let me be the first to extend my personal congratulations. Today is your day. It is both my honor and my privilege to be here with you, surrounded by those who love you so much, to celebrate you and to let you know just how proud we are of each of you. On Thursday evening, I had the opportunity to speak with our seniors and their families at the senior celebration dinner. And I told a story of one of the most outstanding headmasters here at Parker. She was an extraordinary woman who was affectionately known as Happy. And I recounted the simple requests that Happy would tell to her faculty each and every day. She said this: believe in your students, so much so that they will begin to believe in themselves. For there is no greater gift that we can give than to believe. Now, maybe Happy was channeling the great French mathematician Pascal, who said this: I bring you the gift of these 4 words. I believe in you. Now, whether inspired by these words or any others spoken in a similar vein, this much I know to be true. Happy is right. There is nothing that we can give that is greater than the belief in our students, in the belief in the class of 2019. And for as long as you have been a part of our lives, whether it be from the moment you arrived into the arms of your family, or whether it be the first day you set foot on the Parker campus, we have all believed in you. Your families, your teachers, your coaches, your friends, and most especially, your classmates. So, on this day, your graduation day, when you will undoubtedly receive gifts of all types and sorts, on behalf of everyone gathered, I wish to give you again the most important gift captured in 4 words. We believe in you, just as we always have and just as we always will. Congratulations. Now go forward, always believing in yourself just as we believe in you. And promise to come back and see us again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yaley. There are so many standouts among the students in the class of 2019. At this time, we recognize the student who has earned the top ranking for academic achievement. The next speaker is a young woman who has distinguished herself by her intellectual curiosity and her strength of character. Please welcome to the stage, or to the podium, I should say, the class valedictorian, Victoria Carminale.
Good afternoon, faculty, staff, families and friends, Board of Trustees, and of course, students. Welcome to this great celebration. I'm honored and humbled to be speaking before you today as the valedictorian of the class of 2019. 2019 has truly been a year of nostalgia. This year brought the premiere of the last Avengers movie, the surprising return of the Jonas Brothers, and of course, the end of our time at Parker. For some of us, it's been a few years. For others, almost our whole lives. But for all of us, Parker has become a significant part of our own personal stories. In this place, we have made great friends, learned from the wisdom of our teachers, and cultivated our diverse sets of talents in ways that impacted the communities around us. We may all be different, but these differences have enriched our Parker experience. For some of us, we excelled as phenomenal scientists, balancing chemical equations with ease, or competing religiously at the annual Science Olympiad competition. Others shone through as exceptional athletes whose motivation and camaraderie pushed their teammates to work harder. Others were historians who immersed themselves in the past, writing papers, reading textbooks and biographies, or competing with friends in the National History Day competition. And others stood out as skilled artists, showcasing their amazing art in the Rose Art Gallery or performing their music at pep rallies and talent shows. The list goes on and on. I was asked today to give advice to the class of 2019. For this, I looked toward none other than Paddington Brown, an adorable bear from darkest Peru. Now, if you're not familiar with this fantastic character and now popular movie franchise, which got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, here he is. Now, Paddington is an interesting bear. Not only does he wear a hat and duffel coat in rain or shine, but he also talks. In the movie, Paddington travels all the way to London in search of a home. He encounters a few challenges, goes on many adventures, and eats tons of marmalade, which to him is the equivalent to Parker's Stromboli. But throughout his quest, there are many important lessons to be learned. First, never lose sight of who you are. As we commence on our own journey, whether it be off to our first year of college or to the start of an exciting gap year, we, like Paddington, will definitely encounter strange and unfamiliar territory. What we hope will eventually become our home may seem distant and impossible to reach at first. We might encounter paths that may require changing who we are and what we believe in, but it is important not to relinquish our values and our identity in the face of adversity. It is our individuality and diverse talents that make us who we are. Second, be open-minded and have a keen sense of adventure. As we will definitely be encountering many challenges, we will also be presented with many opportunities. Be open to trying out a class in a field you may have never heard of. Try to learn a new language if you are given the chance. Don't confine yourself to what you have predetermined as your end goal. And cherish this time you have to expand your boundaries. You'll never be presented with as many opportunities as you are being presented with now, so I urge you to take advantage of this. Third, do your best to help others and be grateful of the things you have. When I first met my neighbor, he told me something that still remains with me today. He said that my peers and I were born at a place and time that has given us the most potential for our futures. We have already been given so many opportunities simply due to our environment and the sheer amount of technology available. However, it's easy to lose sight of our potential because we live in a world of comparisons. We might find ourselves looking to our peers and thinking that we can never be on par with them because they have this or that going for them. But in the grander scheme of things, they are only an angstrom away. They may have slightly more resources available to them, but you too have so many bright opportunities awaiting you that you should not lose yourself in the superfluities. For this, I think we have much to be grateful for. And furthermore, we have had the opportunity to receive an education from our amazing teachers here at Parker. Because of our position in the world, we must not let our talents go to waste. As I said before, we are a class of diverse thinkers and doers. We have so much to offer the world around us, whether it be using our talents to impact the life of one person or to better the lives of many. I would like to take this moment to thank everyone who has helped get us here. For me, I would like to say, gracias abuelita y abuelito, grandma and papa, Mom and Dad, Brianna, and of course, my dog Barbie. Thank you to all the families and friends in the audience today for constantly supporting us all. And thank you to our teachers for guiding us throughout our high school journey. You have all given us so much to learn from, and I know this class of B19 Deals will not disappoint. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria, Vicky, as we call you. I am pleased to introduce now the member of the class of 2019 who was selected by her peers from an outstanding group of students who competed for the honor of speaking on behalf of the class. Please welcome the winner of the commencement speech competition, Grace Wynn.
Good afternoon. My name is Grace Wynn, and I first want to thank you all for coming here today. Standing behind me are not only great students and friends, but people who I consider to be my family. So I'm especially proud and humbled to have the opportunity to represent this class, the class of 2019. My parents always told me that it takes a village. Not sure if I knew exactly what they meant at first, but I certainly know what it means today. A village is all of you. Friends, family, teachers, and my classmates. And I believe that what makes our village so special are the amazing teachers that represent the foundation of this school. It certainly takes a village to raise a child, to educate, and to protect. It also takes a village to succeed. It takes a village to be strong. And it takes a village to help us all move forward into our futures to come. It takes a village to succeed. When I think about the class of 2019, many things come to mind. One of the first moments I realized our grade was unique was in the 7th grade. Sahana Kumar brought in her published 300-page hardcover book. And this was her version of Bring in Your Short Story Day. So, just last year, our History Day Club won nationals. Both basketball teams fought their way to CIF championships this year. And 4 years ago, Evan Morgan created a Lego company at the age of 14. Now, at the same time, I was selling lemonade on the corner for 25 cents a cup, thinking I was going to be the next Steve Jobs. The robotics team has racked up a long list of national and regional awards. In our junior year, Luca Marcelli played his cello in the talent show, and I forgot who Beethoven was for a good 4 minutes. Yeah. Jack Morrill was just chosen to go to New York City to perform a monologue among a select number of other actors in the nation. Woo. And let's not forget the several athletes we have this year who, through grit and hard work, are now going to D1 schools to continue their athletic career. These accomplishments and many more that I did not mention because I truly could go all afternoon long are attributed to the individual, the school, and the village. It takes a village to succeed. It takes a village to be strong. The class of 2019 has had plenty of opportunities to be strong during times of change. And we all know that even the best change can be difficult. The physical campus changed. For example, we used to be a village and now we have a parking lot. So the leadership of Francis Parker changed. And ladies, let's not forget the change in dress code when the boy pant became the new skirt. Many of us experienced personal change in family, friends, and/or interests. But at the end of the day, the village remained strong. It took strength not to allow such change to diminish who we are and what we represent. Our relationships with each other and our teachers remained strong. Change did not define who we are. Not only were we strong as a village, we showed strength individually. When someone fell down during times of loss, times of heartbreak, times of disappointment, there was always that someone to pull them back up again. I encourage all of you to always remember that someone in your village who has helped you get back up on your feet and become strong once again. It will take a village to help us move forward into our futures. While our futures are a bit unknown and maybe a bit scary, we will most likely find a different village. A village that will continue to help us grow as individuals, a village to keep us strong, and a village to help shape our future. Now, we must choose our next village with purpose and intent. Let's keep surrounding ourselves with diversity, people who challenge us with our best interests in mind, people who will love us for who we are, people who will always pull us up when we fall, and people that we would be proud to call family. I just want to take a moment to personally thank my amazing teachers who I've grown to know and love, my parents for working so hard to ensure that I had and will continue to have endless amounts of opportunities, my brother for being a constant role model for me even when I was younger, my friends who have made me smile every single day I have come here, and this entire class who I've had the privilege of growing up with and who I am extremely proud to call my family. I want us all to remember that wherever we may go, this village will always be within us. We must pull from it to succeed, to be strong, and to move forward. So here's to all of us and to all of you, because it truly did take a village. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grace. Now I would like to invite the senior class representatives, Peter Bowden and Cindy Kurbitz, to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Gillespie. It is an honor and privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, the Honorable Mr. Juan Vargas. Mr. Vargas has held the office of U.S. Representative for California's 51st Congressional District since 2013. He is a San Diego native and has served California as a senator, representing the 40th District, the State Assembly representing the 79th District, and the San Diego City Council.
Earlier this year, we had the opportunity to visit with Mr. Vargas right here on campus. It was a great opportunity for us to meet him in person and for him to get to know some of the students from the class of 2019. Let's give a warm Parker welcome to Mr. Juan Vargas.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. Peter and Sydney and I especially appreciate the words and the message. Both Victoria and you and Grace, thank you. They were magnificent. I appreciate them very, very much. Thank you. I also would like to begin by thanking Kevin Yaley, head of school. Thank you for inviting me here to speak. It's a great honor, and also want to thank Robert Gleason and the whole board of trustees. Thank you. It really is an honor for me to be here to say a few words, and I hope not bore you to death, because I know that you guys want to move on. And I got to tell you, I'm going to miss some of the performances here. Jack hearing you go off like this. And Vaughn, of course, I used to run home very quickly from Washington trying to get here to see these shows. They were so good. I don't know where I'm going to have to run off to see you now, but it's terrific. So I did think long and hard about the message that I was going to give today, and I finally decided that I would give you the two best bits of advice that have been given to me. And the reason I decided that is because, and the reason it was so hard is because both of my daughters, both Lancers, both of them, Rosita graduated 5 years ago now, and Helena is a rising sophomore. And my wife, they're right here. I was thinking they're going to be in the audience. So what do I say that that also would be something that they don't hold against me for the rest of my life? So anyway, I thought long and hard about it, and I thought, well, the first profound lesson in life that was given to me by a very wise and saintly Catholic nun. And the second, surprisingly, was by a person whose advice I thought I'd never need and I would never follow. But before I tell you about these stories, let me read an excerpt from a commencement address that Chief Justice John Roberts gave 2 years ago, and I think probably many of you have heard it. Now, the commencement speakers will typically also wish you good luck and extend good wishes to you. I will not do that, and I'll tell you why. From time to time in the years to come, I hope that you will be treated unfairly so that you will come to know the value of justice. I hope that you will suffer betrayal, because that will teach you the value of loyalty. Sorry to say, but I hope that you will be lonely from time to time so that you don't take friends for granted. And I think you do a great job talking about that, both of you. I wish you bad luck, again, from time to time, so that you will be conscious of the role of chance in life and understand that your success is not completely deserved, and the failure of others is not completely deserved either. And when you lose, as you will from time to time, I hope every now and then your opponent will gloat over your failure. It is a way for you to understand the importance of sportsmanship. I hope you will be ignored so you know the importance of listening to others. And I hope you will have just enough pain to learn compassion. Now, whether I wish these things or not, you're going to happen, and they're going to happen to you. And whether you benefit from them or not will depend upon your ability to see the message in your misfortune. Now, that's the end of the quote, and I believe Chief Justice John Roberts' advice is very wise. But how do you discern? How do you figure out the message in the misfortune? In other words, how do you find the meaning in what you experience? And here's where my first story begins and my first bit of advice. I was lucky and privileged enough to go to the University of San Diego and graduate. And I was privileged enough to go to Fordham University and get a master's degree. And then I was very lucky to go to Harvard Law School and get my Juris Doctorate. And along the way, I made great friends and some interesting classmates, among them President Barack Obama and Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. We were all classmates. The only good advice I got from Barack Obama is when I played basketball with him, and he said, quote, "Be careful when you're to the left of me, because I have a tendency to elbow people when I take a jump shot." Because Barack's left-handed. What I wanted to tell him is, I said, "Don't worry, buddy, I'm not to the left of you." But instead, I just gave him a hard foul, and which he still remembered the first time we met in the White House. So I didn't receive any profound wisdom from the future president or from Supreme Court Justice, but both of them were really great guys in law school, and we remained friends. Instead, the most profound wisdom I received outside of my parents' love for me was from a very saintly nun that ran the chaplain's office at Seton Medical Center in Daly City in the outskirts of San Francisco. I studied to be a priest for 4 years. I was a Jesuit. And part of my Jesuit formation, when I entered the Jesuit novitiate in Montecito and made a 30-day silent retreat, which meant I didn't speak to anyone for 30 days, except for a few times as my spiritual director. In fact, I recommend it to some of you that speak a little too much. 30 days of silence cures speaking, let me tell you. But anyway, I made my long retreat, and then I was sent on a mission to Mexico by my novice master, supposedly to live in poverty for 2 months at a very poor mission. The problem, as it turned out, was when I came back and spoke to my novice master in the required Jesuit colloquy, or a talk, where you talk to your superior and you try to be very, very truthful. He asked me what I learned, and I told him that Jesuit poverty was much nicer than how I grew up. So much for poverty. My second mission, my novice master told me he was sending me to live in the Jesuit community at St. Ignatius Preparatory School in San Francisco, but that I would be working as a chaplain at the Seton Medical Center in Daly City. He also told me that I was going to live on $5 a week to better experience poverty. Note to self, never tell the novice master you weren't poor enough. Bad idea. So I moved to San Francisco with a duffel bag containing everything I owned, and I enjoyed living at St. Ignatius. I was able to ride a bike to work so I could save my $5, and I would combine it with another Jesuit novice, and we'd actually save it and have a pitcher of beers on Friday. Went to good use. Now, the chaplain's office at Seton was run by a very experienced nun, and her name was Sister Frances. She belonged to the Daughters of Charity and had worked in many jobs helping the poor, but now because of her age and mobility, she was at Seton ministering to the chaplaincy needs of the patients there. I reported to her, and she would give me my assignments. I mostly was sent to give communion to Catholics that requested it and prayed with them if they wanted me to do that. I would wear a clerical collar, which often confused people because they thought I was already a Catholic priest, which I wasn't, but I'd let them know that I was only a novice, a freshman, like all of you will be next year, or the year after that, you take a gap year. Sister Frances wanted me to work with two women named Mary, both of whom were Catholic and required a lot of attention, but for very different reasons. Both were terminally ill with cancer and they had given up treatment and were really at the hospital to die. Today, they'd probably be handled differently because of hospice, but this was back in 1983, and the option didn't seem one that they would take or could take. The first Mary, what she really needed was a personal assistant because she had so many people coming to see her and wanted to do so many things for her family and friends, but she was really too weak to do them herself. I spent a lot of time with this Mary, and I got to know her children and her friends. I would usually run interference with the hospital staff because she always had way too many people in there, and you're only supposed to have 4, and she always had a crowd. So she was always breaking the rules, and I was trying to mollify the staff there. Then she started sending me out to the hospital outside to pick up things for her family and her friends, and I had to confide in her that I only had a bike at $5 a week. So she brought a car to the hospital and stationed it there so I could run her errands. She had some strange requests. She wanted me to burn incense when a particularly pious friend of hers was going to visit. I said, absolutely not. People are on oxygen in here. Are you kidding me? But so what she did was make me read some Latin prayers to her friend because his friend was very pious, and she wanted her friend to feel good about the experience. This Mary confided in me that Sister Frances, again, was in charge, the chaplain there, had been her teacher in high school, and that she was always in trouble, but Sister was always bailing her out. I told Sister about this, and she said, yeah, but don't do the math, because I was trying to figure out how old Sister was. And she said, don't do that, I'm very old. I said, okay, I get it. And as time went on, Mary got weaker and weaker, and surrounded by her family and close friends, she died. And I was very sad. In a very short period of time, I'd come to love her and her family, and sadly, she was gone. I went to her funeral mass and almost couldn't make it in because there was a giant crowd that was assembled there. In fact, I think it was the clerical collar that I was wearing that helped me get in because people thought I was one of the priests that was there to celebrate her mass of Christian burial, or as we're calling it, the funeral liturgy. It was a wonderful experience. There were so many people there, had so many wonderful stories. The second Mary that I spent a great deal of time with, it turns out, had also been a student of Sister Frances as a young girl and was there at Seton Medical Center because she was also dying of cancer. Spent a lot of time with this Mary because she desperately didn't want to be alone. And she basically had no visitors. In fact, I only met one man that came to visit her, and it turned out to be her lawyer. And she told me that, don't worry, he'll be back because he gets paid by the hour. Turns out she was right. I was surprised to learn that this Mary had 2 children who lived in the Bay Area and another one that lived back east. I volunteered to call them and to try to get them to come to visit before it was too late, but she forbade me. She said no. She had a falling out with her family and said that she wanted nothing to do with them. I almost tried to contact them anyway, but I decided I really was supposed to follow what Mary wanted, so I didn't do that. Most of the time I spent with Mary, she spent lamenting about all the things that had gone wrong in her life and how she wanted a do-over because things did not turn out the way she wanted. She asked me to run a few errands for her, which I happily did, and found out that she was actually very wealthy and that she knew the first Mary. Their families had known each other, but not very well. This Mary started to fade, and eventually she also died. I spent a lot of time with her, but I couldn't spend the weekends because I worked with the homeless on these days. It was part of my mission. And I felt terrible when she died on a Saturday because I wasn't there. And one of the things she didn't want was to die alone. And thank God I found out that Sister Frances was with her when she passed, and in fact was holding her hand. I also attended this Mary's massive Christian burial, and it was a lesson in contrast from the first Mary's funeral. There was almost no one there. And the priest was in a real hurry to move things along and get going. Sister Frances told me on the spot to be ready to say something about Mary because I had spent so much time with her at the end of her life. And I wanted to say something nice about her, but I didn't get the chance because the priest just soldiered on and he ultimately ended the Mass and left. I felt tremendous sadness for this Mary and the way her life had ended. A few weeks later, my mission was coming to an end, and I was making sure that I had said goodbye to everyone and that I had worked with and all the people that had helped me. And I got a call from my novice master who informed me that my formal colloquy, again, that conversation that Jesuits have, was going to be with Sister Frances, not with him, which was very odd. I thought that was odd again, but of course I agreed and contacted Sister Frances, who all along knew that this was going to be the case. It turns out that Sister Frances had done this many times before and enjoyed training Jesuits, like I was at the time. And she had made sure that the patients that were placed with me, that I could help and they could help me. And there's, again, formality to this colloquy when they sit down and you have this conversation with the superior. It's a pretty intense conversation. And Sister Frances asked me why I thought I was sent to Seton Medical Center. Again, note to self, not because of the poverty experience. I didn't want that $5 to become $2.50 on the next one. So I didn't tell her that. I told her I think I was sent there because I'd never had a relative or close friend die, and my novice master wanted me to experience the end-of-life scenarios and really the finality of life. She said that was true, it was partially the reason, but she also said that over the years, she had seen how people got to experience what I just did, and it would really put their life into perspective. She said that I had done a pretty good job caring for the needs of the patients that I was assigned to, and then asked what I had learned, something new, and I said, yes, that I should be myself. And she said, no, don't be yourself. Anything but that. It, of course, put me back on my heels. You're always told to be yourself. And she said, don't be yourself. She said, be much more than yourself. You can be much more than yourself. Certainly use your talents and gifts that you've been given, but strive to be much more than yourself. Then, of course, we talked about the obvious. That she had assigned both Marys to me because she thought that it would be good for them, but that it would also be good for me. It turns out that not only had Sister Frances taught both Marys when they were very young girls, but she had kept a very close relationship with the first Mary. Whenever Sister met someone that needed help, she always was calling on the first Mary, and this Mary never refused her. In fact, Mary had married a wonderful young man, and they went along in their life, and they started a number of businesses. They became very, very successful. And as their success grew, so did their generosity. And this Mary always worked at being a better person. Sister Frances told me to think about all the things that Mary was doing up to death's door. It wasn't always easy for her, but it truly made her a wonderful person out of what was once a little troublemaker. Sister then told me that she lost track of the second Mary, but from time to time would hear about her family's success in business. And again, it turned out that both Marys came from very prosperous San Francisco families, and both lived seemingly successful lives. But I got to see the difference in their death. Sister said that even though I may not have appreciated it, that I saw and experienced what few get to experience, how love and generosity create a wonderful life. One where you're at death's door and you don't ask for a do-over. So I thought, I want to live my life like the first Mary. I don't want a do-over. So I try to be generous. I try to forgive. I try to love the best I possibly can because I know it pays off at the end. She again told me, think about how you want your death to be. And really a perspective that not a lot of people think about. So now I was 23 years old, and I had this colloquy with Sister Frances, and that's 35 years ago. I remember it as if it was yesterday. And it stayed with me my whole life, and I think I'm a better person because of her wisdom. And at the end of the day, she was right. I get to make the decisions of what type of life I want to live and how my life will turn out. Now you're all adults, all of you, and you have the same chance and decisions in front of you. And I hope you choose love. I hope you choose service to others. It really does work out in the end. I know that I look back on my own life, and I don't want do-overs. I messed up a few times, and sure, I'd like a few small do-overs, but no major do-overs. So I hope you learn from your misfortunes that Chief Justice John Roberts talked about and create that beautiful life for yourself and for your families. Now, on a lighter note, the second bit of practical advice I got was from none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Couldn't believe it. Arnold became governor when I was in the state assembly and I was the chairman of the insurance committee. For the first 6 months of Arnold's administration, I spoke with him almost every day because he ran on overhauling the workers' compensation system in California, and I became the Democrats' point person for these reforms. After a particularly difficult day, something had broken in the news that really embarrassed him. I said that I know that he had a difficult day and we could meet the next day if he wanted to, even though it was a Saturday. And he said, "Nonsense. Today was a fantastic day." And I thought, yeah, I doubt it. He goes, no, listen to me. He goes, I'm alive, I'm governor of California. And I wish you could pronounce it right, buddy, but anyway, California. They're all great days. It's all your attitude that counts. If you want to have a bad day, have a bad day. All mine are great. It turns out he was right. Oddly enough, if you want to have a bad day, it really is your attitude. Most days are really great. And I took that to heart. So that's the only advice I could give you, that second piece of advice. Now, again, I want to thank you for being and if you want to start off right today in the next part of your education life, you know what I would do if I were you today? I would hug your mom, your dad, everyone that's significant in your family here, and tell them that you love them and thank them for what they've done for you. And for those of you that find it hard to do that, for whatever reason, you should especially do that. It's the step in the right direction. I wish you the best. It's an honor to be here. And again, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you again, Mr. Vargas, for your very inspiring remarks. You've given us much to think about. And I'm giving a long-distance hug to my parents in Florida right now. It is with full authorization and support of the Francis Parker School Board of Trustees that we now may have the honor of conferring a diploma to each member of the graduating class of 2019. Ms. Terry Devine, Dean of College Counseling, will begin with the first group of graduates. She will be followed by the Director of College Counseling, Jasmine Taylor, Director of College Counseling, Andy Lozier, and Director of College Counseling, Bob Hurley.
Graduates, please step forward as I call your name. Remember to pause for the photographer after receiving your diploma. Group 1, please stand. Victoria Madison Comunale Luna. Brooke Say. Ali Abu Khalaf. Bijou Giannina Ang. Robin Darush Arjmand. Lily Michael Arrington. Sydney Aylesworth. Walter Kai Bauer Seeley. Matthew Bender. Michaela Berenson. Julia Eden Berniker. Zachary Joseph Brainer. Jacob Alexander Britton.
Right, Jake.
Nicole Britton. Andrew Jonathan Brown. Gail Brewell. Fiona Bryla. Emma Sophia Buchler. Michael Campagna. Michael Carandang. Sydney Rebecca Kurbis. Peter Evans Bowden. Norma Grace Wynn. Group 1, you may be seated. Group 2, please stand. Miriam Castagnon. Pablo Cervantes de la Mora. Cleo Ellen Chaplin. Maya Chu. Sonali Chu. Catherine Elizabeth Clark. Megan Alice Elizabeth Clark. In recognition of their service to our school, trustees, former trustees, and faculty members who are parents of a graduate are invited to assist in presenting their student with their diploma. Her father, former trustee Andrew Clark, and her mother, Catherine Clark. Laurent Cotter. Ethan Michael Davis. Bryce Detloff. Camilla Doring Oberfeld. Danica Dew. Jason Dykstra. Isabella Elia. Maya Elise Espinosa. Cesar Fernandez. Group 2, you may be seated. Group 3, please stand. Trinity Rose Fema. Jordan Marie Finley. Sofia Gabriela Galdames. Gandari Laura Galindo. Caroline Garay. Jacqueline Estelle Gauche. Jonathan A. Gordon. Zoe Jasmine Gray. Her mother, Assistant Head of Lower School, Heather Gray, and her father, Peter Gray. Maxwell Thomas Feldhaus Gwynn. Delaney Ambrose Gustafson. Nicholas Frankie Gustafson. Cassidy Jean Haas. Eleanor Grace Hansen. Berkeley Russell Hayes. Annika Elise Height. Andres Heredia. Kira Lee Hirsch. Sam E. Hodges. Sarah Helene Hoffmeister. Ryan Horn. Liliana Hunt. Leif Eric Isaacson. Nikhil Kalita. Davis Kodrowski. Group 3, you may be seated. Group 4, please stand. Hannah Haemin Kim. Nicole Kim. Jayon Therese Curte.
Sahana Prem Kumar. Gabrielle Levitt. Joshua Bryn Lynn. Giancarlo Lopez. Luca Anthony Marcelli. Gabriella Martin. Lena Rashad Mayberry. Nicole Lauren McDermott. Matthew Qua McGrath. Thomas Meissner. Vaughn Thomas Melbourne. Elizabeth Amdiwork Mitiku. Emily Grace Morefoot. Evan William Morgan. Jack Michael Morel. Sujan Venkata Nandipati. Group 4, you may be seated. Group 5, please stand. Adam Israel Nussbaum. Alex Olmeta. Catherine Ann Papatheophanis. Emily Park and her mother, current faculty member Lisa Park. Madison Victoria Parker. Jack William Patterson. Dania Mona Perquette. Maya Sarah Pratt Friedman. Belle Rodriguez. Maxwell Anders Radebush. His mother, current faculty member Lisa Radebush, and his father, current faculty member Paul Radebush. Jordan Taylor Ryan. Bijan Michael Sagart. Ryan Davis Sanborn. Noah Harrison Schneider.
Joseph Sefton. Ian Sagal. Adam Charles Shank. Taya Willa Shannon. Louisa Rosemary Southworth. Her father, former trustee Hamilton Southworth, and her mother, Mary Catherine Kelly. Colin Andrew Spiridonoff. Suraj Srinivasan. Anna Jane Stanton. Emma Stanton. Jacob Alexander Steensma. Jacob Stinger. Claire Elise Strauch. Group 5, you may be seated. Group 6, please stand. Amy Lynn Tao. Alexander Paul Chang. Luke Theodore Chang. Their father, former trustee and Parker alumnus Ted Chang, and their mother, Alice Moe. Nicolas Talenti Delgado Asensio Sucre. Spencer Madden Taney. Ethan Mars Tift. Christian Tran. Nicholas Ryan Trimble. Evan Charles Truesdale. Emily Z. Wong. Seth Pablo Washaba. Amanda Morgan Wasserman.
All right, Amanda.
Emmy Weisenfeld. Brianna Nicole Whalen. Gabrielle White. Dina Elizabeth Wilson. Emil Robert Wall. His mother, current trustee and alumna Caroline Wall, and his father, Emil Wall. Jamie Gabrielle Yanofsky. Nate Yanatan. Axel Nicholas Alcala Youngdale. Group 6, you may be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, I will ask the graduates to stand. But before I do, I invite you to join us after the ceremony for a brief celebration over at the Student Life Center on the deck. Following the ceremony, photographers will be available in the Marina Room on the second floor of the Student Life Center to take family portraits. Graduates, you heard that, right? Okay. We will conclude with the turning of the tassel and a salute to our graduates. Will the members of the class of 2019 please rise? Traditionally, the turning of the tassel at commencement symbolizes the transition from candidate to graduate. Protocol dictates that the tassel be worn on the right side of the mortarboard at the start of the ceremony and then turn to the left side. Graduates, you may turn your tassels. On behalf of the Francis Parker School Board of Trustees, it is now my honor and privilege to present to you the graduates of the class of 2019. Members and friends, I ask you to please remain seated until the graduates have received